They say that life is all about ups and downs. One day, you fail in something, you just want to crawl in bed and cry. The other day, something better happens, something that can make you that you failed in something, and you suddenly feel happy. You forget about that failure. Well, I can say that I had those ups and downs in my life quite a bit too. Growing up shy, I was not the most talkative kid in the class. I had my own opinions, my thoughts to share, but I just didn't know how. I was fine with words, but talking out in front of people like this, it was just not the best way for me to express myself. It caught the attention of my 4th grade teacher. And we were given an assignment to write an essay or a short story about the word pencil. At first, I thought it would be easy. But when it was just me, the pencil, and the paper, I realized that how many opportunities I had. Endless number of words, characters, places, all the things I could create with my pen and my words. After I was finished with writing it, I was still a bit self-conscious, but I still read it in front of the class, just like everybody else. After I was finished, there was a round of applause. It was usual. I didn't think it was extraordinary. But afterwards, my teacher came up to me and said, "I want you to read it in the other classes as well." And just like that, the shy kid, me, I read my short story about the word pencil in front of many and many other students. And that was how I was introduced to the world of writing. And it was my first encouragement and my first ever success. And afterwards, not long after my first success, I met with a friend of victories, failure. After my first attempts with writing, I started to make it as a hobby. When I went home, I opened my computer, I played with words, I created these better words for myself, better versions of what I lived, better versions of my own personal stories. And I started a longer story after months. When I was writing it, I wasn't expecting anything, to be honest. But when I was finished with it, I knew what to do. I contacted with the children's section of one of the most prestigious publishing houses in Turkey. I was just a kid, 10 years old, didn't know anything about the world, and I was just encouraged by my teacher and my friends. I sent my writing, I sent my longer story, and what I got in return was a rejection letter. When my mom handed it to me, she was a bit worried, because I was just 10, and she was expecting tears maybe, some really big disappointment, but there weren't any tears really. As I said before, I wasn't really expecting anything. I was just 10. I handled it just like I handled the whole situation, like an adult. The little Ayse who didn't tell anything about her age to the publishing house, just like that. And afterwards, there was an undeniable pain of being rejected. I thought I could deal with it, but apparently it was somewhere inside me. Negative self-reflection. At the age of 13, I was asking this question to myself. Wasn't I good enough? It wasn't just about writing. It was about my academic success, my social life, although everything seemed to be fine from a person who looked outside the picture. But I did get that there was something wrong when I was diagnosed with anxiety. Well, I'm not a doctor or a therapist, so I cannot talk about anxiety much. Not on this stage, not objectively. But there's one thing that you really need to know, that it's pretty awful. When I was diagnosed with anxiety, I didn't even know what it meant. But my symptoms were odd and unique to many people around me. I just couldn't simply stay in class. Everything stressed me out. I was bursting into tears that everything made me go out of my comfort zone. And the exams, they were the worst. It was the hardest thing to say in an exam. Even though I knew what I was going to do in the exam, I just couldn't take the pen and write. I would just go out, hide in the bathroom, and do nothing. Wait for something to happen. Wait to heal, actually. And back then, I didn't know what I was hiding from. But I soon realized that it was me. It was my own hopes, my own failures, my own success, and everything I was trying to achieve but afraid that I would not in the future. Well, in that case, I thought that my life had come to an end. I thought that everything became anxiety. Everything I did, I either said yes or no according to my condition. And it was really hard. And I saw that I was restraining myself from some activities that I wanted to do, but I just couldn't take the stress. And that's how I searched help among my oldest friends, words. As I said before, I had failed in something I thought I could be good at, but I needed to do something to show the world that I was not just a girl with anxiety. At the age of 14, when the high school exams were coming, I needed to express myself. That's how I started an online story. I don't know how I actually managed to have it online because I was really scared. I was really scared of the negative reflection. But I don't know, I just thought that maybe if I could create this better world, the characters who were better than me, who were happier than me, who could live the life they wanted to live, maybe I could be successful. But actually, when I think about it, it wasn't my point to be successful exactly. I just wanted to do something that I really liked to do and share it with others, just to express myself, because outspoken words scared me more than ever at that point. And I still couldn't actually understand its seriousness when my story reached 10 million views on the internet. I was just writing each chapters each week. I was really dedicated to that story because my own life, it was boring and I was struggling with the disease that I didn't even ask to have in the first place. And after that story, actually a publishing house contacted me this time, saying that they wanted to publish my book. I was amused. I was so unfamiliar with the thought of people actually wanting to read my book, wanting to read and purchase my own ideas, my own world, the world I created with my words. It was so unfamiliar with me. And I did sign the contract. I wasn't afraid if something bad would happen next, because I knew that it was my only chance to actually prove myself to myself, not to others, but to myself. And after the book signing, everything seemed fine. I thought that that's it. I'm healed now. Everything is better. I am a writer, actually. I can do anything I want. But that's not what happened. There's also one thing about anxiety, that I made it a solid part of my life. I accepted it as a part of me. A therapist I was seeing those days actually told me that if you keep accepting anxiety as a part of your life, it will always keep being that way. After the book was released, I knew what I wanted to do in my life. I wanted to pursue a career in writing. I'm actually going to study creative writing in New York City next year, so good luck to me. And I thought that I knew everything about myself after that point. But apparently, I did not. And that's how I actually decided to heal myself. Heal how? I decided to ignore the problem in order to be healed. It might not sound right, I know. But with the anxiety as a part of me, like my right arm, I knew that it was not going to go away itself. And that's how I said yes to my 9th grade English teacher when she asked me if I wanted to try debating. It was such a risk at that time, because me, the shy kid who couldn't actually speak in front of people, would try debating. 8 minutes of conversation that the whole team depends on you, and everything that comes out of your mind is actually being reflected by the jury. But I did say yes. I thought I should get out of my comfort zone. This is not working like this. My comfort zone isn't the best place I'm going to be. And yes, I did try debating. And my first time, it was awful. It was literally awful because I had my notes prepared. I even had my notes. And when I was on stage, I just spoke half of the time. I was red as a fresh tomato when I sat down. And I could see the faces of everyone in the team, the experienced ones. What is she doing here? She's not suitable for debating. I was so angry at myself. What I was doing there? What I was doing there, fooling myself. And my second speech, it wasn't good at all either. Because the other team was actually not that experienced, and I was the last speaker, so they didn't leave me anything to talk about. And my third one, I could see everyone in the team had to make a choice. Should we give her another chance? I don't know why, but they actually did. And that third speech, it was one of the best speeches I've ever delivered in my life. Guess I just found the missing ingredient to be an excellent debater, the anger. Anger toward myself, anger toward my own boundaries, and anger toward my own failures. And after that point, I knew what to do. I really did. I started saying yes to the things I was so afraid to do. And in my junior year, I became the president of the English and Turkish debate teams. I was named as the Secretary General of the Eyüboğlu Model Government Europe Conference, which I was so scared at the beginning because all the responsibility just on me. And I was in the Model United Nations conferences, I did Destination Imagination, and everything that actually kept me on stage. I was no longer the girl with anxiety anymore. I was the girl with anxiety who does this, and this. And after that point, I actually busied myself with the things I love to do, with the things I chose to do in my life, not the disease or anything that chose to be with me. I don't know if I made you expect one during my speech, but there's actually no great healing story. You don't wake up loving and appreciating yourself, what you do, what you're going to do in life. It's just a process. And after I busied myself with all those things I love to do, all those things that made me feel that, yes, I want to be this person, I am this person, I no longer had time to be concerned about my anxiety. And after some point, when I became a senior in high school, when I looked back, not back, but when I looked just right, it wasn't with me anymore. It was gone. I left it behind. And it's because that everything, that my right side and my left side and everything around me, everything surrounding me, it was full. It was full of the things that I love to do. It was full of people I want to be with. And it was my choice. It wasn't any other people's choice. It was my choice. I was taking the control of my life. And when I look back, I say, what if I said no to my 9th grade English teacher? What if I had quit after my first failure at the age of 10? What if I said no to all those wonderful things who makes me who I am right now? Who makes me stand on the stage, share my experience with you? But I said yes. But I chose to say yes. And life is all about learning to use all those failures not to discourage but to strengthen myself. And it's the hardest thing, I know. But it's the one thing that you need to do in order to become who you are. So don't be afraid to choose your own road. Take the wheel. Thank you.